therapists and coaches. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm here to answer your questions. I've got a lot to share with you about compassionate mediation and how it can help your practice. I noticed that a lot of people that signed up for the A Healthy Time are heart centered counselors, therapists, coaches, and I think there's a reason you're here. You're here because you're looking to expand your practice, maybe expand your income, your impact, and learn some skills that I've developed over 35 years as an internal family systems therapist, mediator, attorney. I'm a Chopra certified teacher of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda. And I wrote the book Compassionate Mediation: How to Add Passion to Your Marriage or Compassion to Your Divorce. And for the last 35 years, I've been practicing with thousands of men and women as my clients and teaching hundreds of other therapists and coaches around the world how to use this system to increase your expertise in conflict resolution. So at any time, if you have a question, please let me know. I'd love to have you come forward and ask it. And in the meantime, if you have a question, you can always go to lindakroll.com roadmap and get the roadmap of my process, and also sign up for a 15-minute session so we can see how this process might impact your future. So take a breath with me here. There's a lot of people that will be coming on, and there's a lot of people that have learned this process, and I'd like to share with you the benefits. So imagine you're working with a client, whether an individual or a couple, and they are conflicted. They're conflicted about what to do about the relationship. They're conflicted about how to handle conflict. Maybe they're thinking of leaving, but they don't have all the information. And in the past, there was no one place to go. You either went to a marriage counselor to work on your marriage, you went to a divorce attorney to talk about a divorce. If you decided on a divorce, you got a mediator if you did it the safe way instead of just acrimoniously fighting it out. But a way to put everything in one spot is to learn compassionate mediation. And the way to do that is to take my training. So if you work with individuals or couples, excuse me, this process does work with individuals too. And what I want to do is I want to be your mentor. I want to give you the skill set that you can use whether you're starting out in your practice and want someone to hold your hand and walk you through it, or if you're like me and have been around many, many years, but I'm still learning new skills. I still keep taking courses, keep getting training, because I feel that evolving is the way to offer our clients the best version of ourselves. So compassionate mediation certification is going to be a small group. The next cohort is starting soon. And I'm taking people who are interested in their own personal and spiritual growth, along with learning a skill set that will help their clients with emotional and spiritual healing, along with legal and financial information and support. So think about it for a moment. If you are working with an individual who doesn't know what to do, you don't have to send him or her to an attorney to find out. Because when you take the certification, I give you all the legal information that you need to share with them so that you can then help your clients process their feelings. And if you're working with a couple, you talk to each of them individually. You find out who wants to stay, who wants to leave. Sometimes they both are on the same page, but many times they're not. Many times one member of the couple wants to leave and another one wants to stay. And I tell the person who wants to leave, who I call the initiator, I tell that person they have to be willing to talk about what got them to this place of wanting to leave. Because if they just filed for divorce, the partner that wants to stay will sabotage the divorce, and 2 years later, they'll still be fighting it out. So they have to be willing to process some of the emotions along with getting the legal information. And I tell the non-initiator, the person who doesn't want to stay, that unless they're willing to talk about what it would mean to get divorced, their partner, who really isn't 100% committed to marriage counseling, won't stay. So in compassionate mediation, coaching certification, you become the expert. You give them the tools to learn how to compassionately communicate. You teach them how to come from their highest self, how to let go of their limiting beliefs and judgments, how to unburden pain from the past and relate from their heart. And then they can communicate about everything. So in the first session, which is what I give you in the certification, I have a list of questions that I give my clients, whether they're coming for individual counseling, couples counseling, or divorce mediation. Because my first session is very unique. And what that means is I allow my clients to share what they want to share with me for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll stop them. And I'll share with them that I could listen to their story for 45 minutes, and then they might walk out of my office feeling marginally better because they had been compassionately witnessed. However, on the other hand, what I want them to know is that if they give me a chance, I can give them a new perspective in 45 minutes. Yes, 45 minutes. My first session is 45 minutes. I give you the questions to ask, the script for the meditation, the way to explain higher self and parts. And I do all that in the first module of the certification process. Because when you have this skill set, you can change desperation, hopelessness, resentment, anger to the possibility of hopeful, peaceful resolution in 45 minutes. And here's how you do that. Excuse me. Here's how you do that. When they start talking, I ask them if I could ask them a few questions. I do it respectfully, I do it compassionately, but I do it in a way that lets them know that I really have a handle on what they're trying to learn and I can help them. So I ask them, what does their partner do that bothers them? And how do they react? And then I ask them what their partner does in response, and then how do they react? And I'm listening for the parts of each of them that get triggered by the other. Do they get angry? Do they get sarcastic? Do they get withholding? Do they get abusive? Do they get hopeless? What triggers in them? And then how do they behave? And I then explain to them the concept of self and parts. And as an internal family systems therapist, there are 8 C's to self: calm, compassionate, curious, creative, confident, courageous, connected. I hope that's 8. And I add grateful. And when they come from that energy, they can talk about anything. They can talk about money. They can talk about parenting. They can talk about sex. They can talk about whether to stay or go. They can talk about what to do about the house. They can talk about what to tell other people. When you teach them how to compassionately communicate, then miracles can happen. And even if it leads to a separation or divorce, if you're helping them with compassionate mediation, you help them compassionately, peacefully, respectfully dissolve their union and then create 2 new independent homes where their children feel safe with both of them. So again, if you're listening and you have a question, please raise your hand. I'd love to bring you up and have you ask it. And if you would like to learn later how we can work together or a little bit more about this process, go to lindakroll.com/roadmap, get your free roadmap of the process, and we'll also give you a chance to sign up for a 15-minute talk with me where I can see how this process might help your practice, because I don't believe there are any accidents. If you're here, if you're listening, it's because you were moved to join me for some reason. I'd like to think it's because we're all heart-centered practitioners, meaning we all have a passion to serve, and we have a passion to serve deeply and meaningfully. And I decided long ago, after I married my beloved college sweetheart, and we were married for 20 years, and then our marriage was headed for divorce. And I realized that there had to be a better way than the typical adversarial process. We were seated in the courtroom on opposite sides. Our lawyers were back with the judge deciding our lives. And I knew it didn't have to be that way. So when you learn compassionate mediation, you become the go-to expert. Whether you're a therapist or a coach or a mediator or an attorney or a counselor or clergy, you learn a skill set that allows you to help your clients be their best self, create a compassionate relationship, learn how to share empathy with each other, even about the parts that aren't sure if they want to stay or go. You help your clients explore all their options, and I give you all those options, so you have all that information. You want to help them understand their rights and finances because many times I've realized in my practice that many times people leave when they could stay and many stay when they should go. And the problem is they don't have the right information. They don't have the right support. They don't have the right guidance. I want to give that to you so that you can give it to your clients. Because when you give it to your clients, you will see the depth that you're providing them in terms of healing what's happened in the past, allowing them to show up in the present, and then moving forward with a renewed sense of commitment to be their best self. And when your clients bring their best self to their relationship, they can change the relationship, whether their partner chooses to change or not. So let's start at the beginning. If you're a coach or therapist who's first starting out, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've taught at internal family systems conferences, American Mental Health Association, mediation trainings, trained other lawyers, and I want to train you. And on my platform, I have the handouts, the templates, the videos, all the guidance you need to take my process and integrate it into your practice now so that you wouldn't have to question, what do I do in the first interview? Because in the first interview, after I explain the concept of self, and I do it in a way that usually asks, what is their spiritual leaning? Meaning, do they believe in a higher power, source, universe, God? And then I ask, where is that bigger energy? And if it's God, where is God? And it's inside of you. And it's helping your clients come from that peaceful, respectful, compassionate, conscious presence that allows them to move forward. But they need your help. They need you to understand what they're going through. They need you to have the information they need to make informed decisions. Because you don't have to refer your clients out when they're thinking of divorce. When you are certified in compassionate mediation coaching, you have the tools that you need to work with them for weeks, months, and sometimes years. And if you're a therapist or coach, there are 16 continuing education credits in the level 1 certification. So I've offered 4 cohorts, and the next one is starting very soon. If you sign up soon, you're going to get $1,000 off the price, but first we have to talk because I want to make sure it's a fit for you. I want to make sure that what I'm offering will serve you. I want to make sure that the energy that you bring and the heart that you bring and even the spirituality that you're open to allows you to take my tools and use them efficiently. So in terms of questions, what is compassionate mediation? It's more than marriage counseling. It's more than divorce mediation. It's a combination. It's a combination because it brings the best of both. But it's better because in marriage counseling, often the party who has thought about leaving isn't fully committed to marriage counseling. So what you want to do is you want to make safe a conversation about everything. Meaning it's safe to talk about the part that's ambivalent. It's safe to talk about the parts that thought about leaving. It's safe to talk about everything because in that safety, there's a new level of intimacy. And in that new level of intimacy, there's a new level of trust. And as they learn how to trust each other again, or maybe for the first time, that they can create something new, but they do it with your help. So when I've introduced the aspect of self, I mentioned that they each have parts that they exile and push aside, parts that they manage with and show the world and each other, and parts that they get extreme with. And sometimes those extreme parts can be very devastating to the relationship. Some people drink too much, eat too much. Some people go have an affair. Some people get depressed or enraged. Some people go hire a lawyer and say, fight for me. Deep breath here. What we want to do is help show them that their parts are protected, that they can unburden the pain from the past, and they can relate from their heart. They can speak for their hurt, their sadness, their fear. They can listen with empathy to their partner, where they can hear, understand, and make amends if necessary. They can do all that in the first session, actually, because I give you the script for my guided meditation. And in my roadmap, I give you the tools that will lead you to all of this information. Because in that guided meditation, I help them connect to their energy that is calm, compassionate, peaceful, and give that compassion to themselves, to all the parts of them that are hurt, sad, scared, angry, judgmental, blaming, self critical. Just I have them take a breath and offer that compassion to themselves. But then I help them offer compassion to their partner. Because when they share compassion, they can talk about everything. And it's amazing what I'm sorry will do and what thank you will do. So, helping your clients learn the four needs of the heart in the language that their partner needs it. And the four needs of the heart are attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. And again, I give you the templates, I give you the script, I give you the manual on how to work with your clients. So if you're a coach, you will become an expert in conflict resolution. People will seek you out because you will have a skill set that no one else has. If you're a therapist, I want to give you the tools so that you can keep any client that you would normally refer out to a mediator or an attorney. Because I know when I first started working as a therapist, and even as I teach other therapists, there have been some times when a therapist has felt, well, as soon as someone mentions divorce, it's out of my expertise. And I don't have the skill set. I have to refer them. I'm nervous. I don't know where to go. I want you to come with me in compassionate mediation coaching certification because you will have truly not only the roadmap, but the outlines, the questions, the meditations, the explanations to be an expert, not only in conflict resolution, but in compassionate communication coaching. So even if you work with someone who's not in a marriage or not in a relationship, this process works with parents and their children. This process works in the workplace. This process works with friendships. Because when you've learned how to come from your higher self, relate with empathy to someone else, explore the options for a change in the relationship, understand what choices you have, and then create the relationship you truly desire and deserve. So the Compassionate Mediation Coaching Certification starts very soon. We're going to meet for 90 minutes twice a month live, and then you have the backlog and the back of all of the information that I've created in 35 years. You have videos, templates, scripts, handouts, journal pages, and because we're going to be a small group, I make this group personal to you, meaning I will know you personally. It's probably going to be 10 or less people in each cohort because I want to make sure that I'm speaking to your needs. So you bring your full practice, whether you're just beginning, whether you've got a lot of experience. I've trained therapists, coaches, mediators, attorneys, and we all use this process to bring, as I said, emotional and spiritual healing along with legal and financial information and support. So please let me know what your questions are. Nina, if you have any question, I'd be happy to bring you to the front so you could ask it. And anyone else who's listening, please go to lindacroll.com/roadmap to get my roadmap. And let me answer a few more questions. A lot of times people think, I don't need a certification. I don't want to put the time in. And you don't need the certification. If you're not a therapist or coach and don't need the CEUs, that's okay. But the training is universal. And the training is transformational. If you go to lindacroll.com/praise, you'll find what other people have said about my training. And what they do is they get some practical tools. One person said that just the magic wand tool itself was enough. I'll give you a heads up on what that is. I ask all my clients in the first session, if you had a magic wand, what would you like to see happen? Because a lot of times when you're working with a couple, you'll find one dejected member of the couple feeling very unhappy and going along with the divorce, possibly, because they don't feel that their partner loves them enough. But if you ask the magic wand question and their magic wand is they'd like to stay together, then you help them. You help them heal. You help them get courageous enough to ask for what they want and need. And you do that in a way that gives them the skills to bring their higher self into the conversation. Now, if you ask the magic wand question in the middle of marriage counseling to one client alone, because I see them each alone, even as I'm doing counseling together, and someone says their magic wand question is they'd like to get divorced with as much kindness as possible, then I know that part of my job is to help their partner understand what that would mean and know how to ask for what they want and need in this milieu where their partner might already have left the union, either in an affair or in their intention. So again, you will have the skills. So have you ever wanted to serve more clients, take them into deeper transformation, given them a roadmap in their life to help them build their self-esteem, more confidence, more courage, more information? You help your clients be more enlightened, informed, empowered. And you do that because I give you the toolkit. I give it all to you to use right out of the box. People have started taking my training, hung up their shingle with compassionate mediation coaching, and put it into practice immediately. And that's what you can do. So remember, go to lindakroll.com roadmap. Let's sign up for a 15-minute call so I can see how this might help you. If not, I'll give you the benefit of my wisdom of 35 years for whatever your questions are. And we start in September. Excuse me. We start in September, and it's going to be a very inspirational experience. It's more than a training. It's a place to feel supported, connected. It's a place to feel inspired, motivated. It's a meeting of like-hearted souls from around the world who, like you, want to make a deeper impact, want to give your clients the benefit of healing a relationship and creating a new one, if possible, or if they're going to end their relationship, to do it in the most peaceful, respectful, and kind way possible. The night before my own divorce, I went to my husband, and I went to my husband in the courtroom. So the night before my own divorce, I wrote a prayer, and I brought it to my session with my husband to give him and his lawyer the intention that I had for this process. And what my intention was, lost my microphone here, sorry. What my intention was when I got divorced was to come from our highest self, to remember the love that we once had, to create two homes where our children will feel safe and comfortable, and to not let our parts that were hurt, sad, scared, angry get in the way of being as kind and compassionate as we could be. So all of my handouts, how to tell children about the divorce, how to introduce self in parts, how to teach the miracle of empathy, because it can be taught. And often in the first session, usually by the second session, I've given my clients an opportunity to learn empathy, to speak for their hurt and fear and sadness, to listen without judgment, without defensiveness, without reactivity, and to make amends, to say, I'm sorry, the miracle of I'm sorry, and then to allow a framework for better things to happen in the future. So again, the certification starts soon, and we will talk on the call about whether it's a fit for you. And just remember that whatever the investment, you're going to return it with one client. Because therapists, I have held clients in my office, helping them in their relationship once they've decided they want to get divorced or separate. I've helped them during the separation and divorce. I've helped them post the separation and divorce, because I give you the skills not just to give them the legal information, but also to talk about emotional healing. How do you connect to your best self? How do you look at the beliefs that you've held for many years, usually from your family of origin? How do you begin to create a new relationship? Because you're going to unburden pain from the past. And I give you the skills to help your clients unburden, to help your clients release the pain, the judgment, the self criticism, the anger, the resentment. I help you teach them how to let them grieve what they need to grieve and move through the grief to hope. And then they can create the relationships they truly desire and deserve with your help. So you become the go to expert. I say in my WEDS group, Women's Empowered Decision Support Community, that working with me is like having a therapist, mediator, attorney, and spiritual coach in your back pocket. That's what I want to offer you. Whatever you're doing now as a therapist, as a coach, as an attorney, as a mediator, as a counselor, as clergy, I'm sure you are making a vital difference in the lives of your clients. But you can go further, you can go deeper, you can go wider, you can encompass them with a whole skill set that gives you the tools to help them heal emotionally, to help them grow spiritually, to help them learn the legal information they need to make informed, empowered, enlightened decisions, to look at their finances without fear, and to be an expert in your field that will make them an expert in their relationship. And we do that all in the Compassionate Mediation Coaching Certification. So again, I'm thrilled that you've joined me. If you have any more questions, please go to lindakroll.com roadmap and get your roadmap, because what we're going to do is we're going to have an opportunity to work together. And even in the 15-minute call, whether you choose to work with me in the future or not, I want to give you the benefit of my 35 years of experience. You're here for a reason. You'll get the roadmap. We'll get started. Thank you so much for showing up. If you have any other questions, please ask them now or get back to me. And remember, you become the go-to expert. You get the templates, videos, handouts. We work live. We work personally. It becomes your safe haven for your own professional and personal growth. I get to know you personally, and I become your mentor. And like I said, it's like having your own therapist, mediator, attorney, spiritual coach, and mentor in your back pocket. I would love so much to have you join me. Please check out the details. We start soon. And let's get together and find out if it's a fit for you now, because if it is, it will be a transformational experience that you can use now in your own personal life as well as your professional life. And if you want to join me, you can help me train other professionals around the world. I look forward to meeting you and being connected, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.